Da, 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 da. Hey, everybody. It is Monday, not Sunday, but Monday, and it is time for some real bites. It's just in time for Din Din,
Yes.
as some people might say. But welcome to another episode of Real Bites. I guess you can call this episode 2, or you can call it episode 7 or 8 if you want to include the other show. But welcome back, people. We got a lot to discuss tonight.
Yes.
And you already know me. I'm Drew. But who's this guy?
Hi, I'm Joe. Apologize to my dear friends. I couldn't make it yesterday. Had a little bit of tummy issues, and if you guys know that whole backstory, we'll just leave it at that. But I'm feeling better today.
Yeah, and like I told Joe, your health is way more important. It's more important than talking about what we're going to talk about tonight. I want you here at 100%.
Shanks.
But yeah, we got some things to talk about. If you're already watching on the YouTube or anywhere else, Facebook and Twitter, look at the thumbnail, look at the background. We're at the expansion. First one,
Yes.
Charles Xavier invited us. We don't even have powers, but he invited us for some reason. So we're here to talk about season 2 of X-Men 97. The first 3 episodes dropped last week.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about that. We got other shit to talk about. Basically what we've been watching as far as movies and TV shows goes. That big old fiasco with Sony.
Yeah.
Some news and a little interesting tidbit at the end. So I guess we can kind of get it started with
Yes.
X-Men. Since the Sony thing counts as news, we'll just say the news at the end of after we're done talking about what we've been watching. So
Yes.
X-Men 97
Yeah.
season 2 dropped last Wednesday.
Yep.
X-Men 97 came out 2 years ago.
It's hard to believe.
Oh yeah, and that was kind of a gamble, kind of continuing that show, because with most shows, they usually try to reboot it. They just try something completely new, which, I mean, there have been some new iterations of X-Men cartoon shows. There was Evolution, which I liked Evolution.
Yeah, me too.
There was Wolverine in the X-Men. There was the X-Men anime. I'm probably blanking on something. But they decided, hey, let's continue X-Men 97.
Yes.
And let's have it be the same animation. Let's bring back the same music, and let's keep it in the 90s.
Yes.
Not try to modernize it, not try to do some bullshit about, like, the X-Men are from the 90s, but we're going to bring them to modern times. Like, no, it's going to be the 90s, people. And by golly, it worked.
Yes. And overwhelmingly worked.
And what really made it work was the fact that it was on streaming and that it wasn't on network television. And that's a lot of the beauty of streaming, is that you're allowed to have more creative risks.
Yep.
And they didn't try to go overly, I guess, a little bit too overly mature, like, say Invincible.
Right.
Which we love Invincible around here, but the X-Men is not Invincible. But the X-Men is very mature, if anyone's ever read an X-Men comic. And the one thing about that show I thought really worked was they reminded everybody, hey, the people that grew up on this show, they grew up. So we're going to grow up with you.
Yep.
And as soon as it got to episode 4 with Genosha, that's when you went, holy shit.
Yeah. I was like, they went there. And like I said, it wasn't hard R, Invincible, or The Boys, but it's mature. It's like late teens to adults consider, like, oh, I see where they're going here, and I understand the subject matter.
Yeah, sometimes you don't always need to be hard R,
right?
Violent, ripping people's heads off to prove a point. Sometimes it's what you don't see. Sometimes it's just intent. That's all you need, and that's what X-Men 97 did with that Genosha episode, where it's like it's genocide.
Yep.
And there's that scene with Magneto where he's seeing visions of Auschwitz. And it's just like, oh, we're going to talk about that. We're going to do this on this show. And just even like sexual tones, like with Rogue coming out playing, Happy Nation by Ace of Base. And it's like, oh, so we're playing horny music on this show. Okay. And then my guy Gambit, went out like a G.
Oh, he did. I have a feeling we're going to see him again.
Oh, again, if you've read the
you know. It's like, even Morph has a little bit of sexual undertones.
Oh yeah, like he wants to fuck Wolverine.
Oh, definitely.
He I shouldn't say it. I'm just gonna keep that to myself. But he wants to get snicked.
Yes.
Coke Hogan is in the chat.
Oh, hey, Coke Hogan.
What is up, Coke Hogan? Invading the chat. I knew of the show, but thought it was on 5 o'clock Mountain Time. I don't know what Mountain Time would be. I mean, I know what Mountain Time is. I just don't know how that coincides. But welcome, Coke Hogan.
Yes, we appreciate it.
But yeah, so if anyone forgot, season 1 ended with the X-Men being blasted pretty much to the past or to the future. And there was a reveal that the big bad was going to be Apocalypse.
Yes.
You had different X-Men in one section where they were dealing with Nathan Summers, who is the son of Scott and Jean, who also grows up to be Cable.
Yes.
And in that future, you have Apocalypse, and in the past, you have another group of X-Men going back to ancient Egypt, where they're dealing with Ensabad Nur, who, wait for it, Apocalypse.
Yes.
And then you have other X-Men stuck in current time. So that's how the show begins. Is the first 3 episodes are pretty much like they're obviously TV, but they almost feel like they're mini movies because each is different.
Yeah.
The one episode is about the other team of X-Men that are stuck in the future, where you deal with Nathan Summers, who's actually voiced by Michael Johnston from Obsession.
Yes.
Who played Baron Obsession, who's not a complete incel in this iteration.
Right.
He's actually helpful. And it's a lot about bonding between him and his parents, because like there's a scene where Nathan is starting to he's revealing his powers because he can actually hear their minds. He's like, wait, who's Cable? And then there's a scene where he's talking to Cyclops and Jane, and he's like, why did you leave me? It's because of A, B, C, and D. And they just kind of came up with an answer that didn't sound as cookie cutter. Or they're like, listen, we had to do what we had to do, but you're your mother's son, you're your father's son. Like you know who you're related to. You can do this.
Yeah.
And it's good writing. It's corny. I'll admit, some of the dialogue is corny, but it works. It's 90s. It's a soap opera, essentially.
Yeah.
But it works. And then the end of the episode is those X-Men are brought back to current time, I believe.
Yep.
And I think I've rambled on too much. I'll get back into it. But overall, what do you think of that first episode?
I loved it. I mean, what I appreciate about this show compared to, the movies are definitely, if you go back and you watch the movies from, what was it, early 2000s to whatever the remakes were, some highs, some lows in the movies, but the movies were very Wolverine focused. Let's not front about it. With the cartoon, especially with the 97 series, they're really focused on these more side characters really don't know about. Like when I saw my boy Forge, like I was like, oh yeah, yes, give me some more Forge. I was just like, Native American mutant that could sit there and powers to transform and work with machinery. I was just like, that's the stuff I like. They're focusing on Nathan Summers. They're focusing on Storm. We'll get to the second episode on who they focus on. But it's making the show very much well-rounded. And that first episode dealing with the future, and I don't know much about the maybe you probably know more about her than, but the older lady that's been kind of watching over Nathan. I was like, it's like right there, but I can't pinpoint her importance. But I'm like, obviously she's like God tier. But so yeah, when I get done talking, you can sit there, give me that info because I was sitting there. But
Yeah.
I love the first episode. I think I knew once it started that we're going to go down this route, start with the future, have kind of like how a comic book is. You know, you sit there, you have your main storyline, kind of have a subplot that still deals with the main storyline, and then we get that third episode that deals with the mutants that are stuck in Egyptian time. So I thought the first one was very well rounded. Again, we're dealing with characters that's not Wolverine centric, even though Wolverine looked kind of badass in that first episode. And then fighting all of Apocalypse's minions and dealing with his four horsemen of that time period. So yeah, I loved it.
Especially that fight scene at the end.
Yes.
When they're playing the theme, and then Storm kind of taps into a new power where she's like, I'm not cosmic, and then she does it anyway. And where, you know, Cyclops is like, do you know who we are? We're the fucking, like, he didn't say fucking, but he's like, we're the motherfucking X-Men.
Right, yeah.
So that was dope. But as far as that old lady or older woman, Aksani, I won't say out loud who she is because I want you to find this out on your own. But she's somebody important in a certain family on this show. A certain power couple, if you will.
Oh, all right, that helps.
So I'm not even trying to sound like I know everything about everything. I found this out. I found this on the internet. Someone was like, "Hey, that lady is so and so." I went, "Oh, okay." But episode 2 was centered around the X-Force.
Yes,
which I thought was pretty fucking cool because the intro just said X-Force. I'm like,
oh my god, I nerded out. I was like, I popped. I was like, oh my god, like X-Force versus like, you know, I was like, that was so cool.
Like each episode felt like a different genre, whereas the first episode was like a futuristic sci-fi film. You know, the second episode that we're about to get into felt like watching a spy movie.
Yep.
Where you had the X-Force and then you had the X Factor. Not Sean Waltman's X Factor, but this X Factor from the comics.
Yeah.
And you had Havoc, who's the brother of Cyclops.
Yep.
Polaris.
Yep.
And my mind went to shit. Who are the other?
You got the big guy with the weird glasses. And the other ones, it's not Tigress. Shoot, what's her name? Yeah, I'm blanking on the other 2 or 3 characters on there. But I was like, oh, it's great to see all these characters. But yeah.
Yeah, Polaris was kind of cool. And then you had X-Force, which they tease at the end of episode 1. It was Cable, Angel, who was Archangel. I marked out for this Psylocke.
Yes.
Psylocke's dope. So yeah, that's how the episode began, is that Cable found Jubilee, which we'll get into, and Sunspot,
yeah,
at the arcade, and he pretty much recruits him for the team. And then that's when you get to the intro of, you know, X-Force 97. I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool. So basically that whole episode is them trying to find somebody that is one of Apocalypse's 4 horsemen, who's old dude with the bowl cut, and they find him, and then there's again, this is where you get to the mature themes of they have him tied up and they want information, and then they're about to kill him, and Jubilee's like, why do we need to kill him? We're not killers. Like, let's try to get more information out of him. And Cable's like, no. Jubilee says, let's call the authorities. And Cable says, we are the authority.
Yeah.
And as that's happening, you just hear Archangel, same thing. Somebody's gonna be like, no, it's not the same thing. He shoots him in the head and goes, it's not murder, it's mercy. So that's an example of like that kind of hard PG-13.
Yeah.
Of, you don't need to show someone's head getting blown off with like their eyes and their brains, spilling out.
Yep.
You just need a little bit of that. What you don't see is maybe more horrifying.
Yeah.
And that worked.
Yeah. And we even got a cuss word in the second episode too, which I was like, oh, okay. Kid was like, that bastard.
Yeah. I was like, did somebody say shit? I could have swore I heard somebody say shit.
Maybe. I think bastard was drop again in episode 3, but I mean they're not shying away from bastard.
Right. And then that leads us to another mutant, Emma Frost.
Yes.
And she's kind of shown to be someone who's very much like, she looks out for a numero uno, and she has her own agenda because she sells out X-Force to X Factor. And X Factor, I guess somebody kind of made the joke that X Factor is kind of like the ICE of the show, where they kidnap not just humans but mutants.
Yep.
Especially mutants. And Jubilee gets captured and thrown into pretty much the prison.
Yep.
And then she's talking to Polaris, and it's funny, she calls Havoc a knockoff Cyclops.
Yes.
Yes. I thought that was funny. Jubilee. I said this on Twitter, and you saw it. This whole series, this new revitalization or continuation, whatever you want, of the series has done the impossible. It's made me like Jubilee. It's made Jubilee a badass. And the original X-Men, I never liked Jubilee. I always thought she was annoying and useless. This show, especially this episode,
in the original series, she acted very much like a immature teen, like somebody.
Yeah, and like last season, she was likable. I'm like, okay, I guess I like you a little bit more. You're a little bit more funny and quirky and not completely useless. In this episode, she has the ever famous needle drop, which is appropriate, and it's a 90s song, which I think is called Volcano Girls or Volcano or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me look it up, because I was actually listening to it in my car this morning.
Oh, nice.
It was called. Oh yeah, Volcano Girls by Veruca Salt. That's the name of the song. And I'm just a kid. Yeah, that's what Coke Hogan saying. Yeah, the needle drop, and she just proceeds to just beat everyone's ass.
Yep.
Not even just using her powers, but using like fucking like jujitsu and MMA shit. I'm like,
yep.
Jubilee. It's like that meme of Shaquille O'Neal. I'm sorry, I was unfamiliar with your game.
Yeah, right.
And it's a really fucking cool scene. That's another thing I love about this show, is that it doesn't harp too much on the 90s. It doesn't go, hey, you remember this? It reminds you that it's the 90s, but without shoving it in your face.
Yeah, you had the one line from Bishop in like first episode, we gotta get the X-Men back to the 90s. I
love that. I love it. I fucking love. I get a kick out of whenever they do a serious monologue and then they just stare at the camera to the 90s. Because like Apocalypse did that. I'm gonna hit them where they're the most vulnerable in the 90s.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. But no, she gets out, and then so no flannel shirts. Hold on, let me put up his comment. He says no flannel shirts in this cartoon. Well, not yet. Wolverine's the only one that wears flannel, but he hasn't had a chance to wear flannel just yet. But you never know. Hulk Hogan, not Hulk. So yeah, she breaks out, and then she gets back with X Factors or X-Force. I'm sorry,
X-Force.
And then that's how that episode ends. But what do you think about episode 2?
Loved it. Again, we're focused on characters that necessarily weren't shown to be the strongest or more important from the original series. This is heavy Jubilee, heavy Cable, heavy X-Force. Even like focusing on characters like Polaris, who, she had a nice back and forth with Jubilee, where Jubilee's just like, he used to be an X-Men, and now you're doing this for the government, the same government that's murdering our kind. So I thought that was great. I mean, again, this was important to the season storyline, but it was kind of that in-between comic book story, which I was down for.
Yeah, I thought this is so far that was my favorite episode. I mean, granted, we have I think like 5 more episodes to go, but
Yeah.
so far from the 3 we got last week, that was probably my favorite. Hands down. Not to say that the other two were bad. Like the other two, I loved. I love this even more.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing with Polaris I thought worked because Polaris just seems she was kind of that character in anything where it's like she thought she was doing the right thing, but then she needed to be reminded of what the right thing really is.
Right.
Whereas Havoc is kind of doing the opposite of Scott, where Scott is very much the leader anywhere he goes, and Havoc has to be the leader anywhere he goes.
Right.
But Polaris, she still had that humanity to her, that good side to her. So I love that back and forth. And I don't know. Again, I'm gonna have my nerd card checked. I don't know much about Polaris. I mean, I've heard the name, obviously. What can you tell me about Polaris?
I'm in the same boat as you. I just know she was a former X-Men, and then she got signed on to this group to work for the government. I mean, that's about the extent of it. I just loved the inclusion of her. I was like, oh, maybe that means down the line we're going to get more interactions with these characters. Like, oh, are we going to get a Havoc and Cyclops interaction? That would be nice.
That'd be dope.
And like I said, just the other two characters, I wasn't. I mean, I know of them. I think they're more of the classic X-Men characters, like say the big guy with the swirly glasses and the tiny hairdo, and then the woman who looked like Tigress. I know she wasn't a Tigress, but you know what I mean.
I know.
But I love them bringing in these new characters that people talk about it, piques the interest. They'll bring these characters back in for future episodes.
Yes, sir. Then episode 3 was in the past, and that was the group of X-Men, which was Magneto, Xavier, Beast, Nightcrawler,
Yes.
Rogue, and I think I'm missing. Am I missing somebody?
No, that should be it.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm blanking, if anyone thinks I'm missing another person, please comment in the chat room, please. But they're stuck in the past and they're dealing with well, let me get to that character later. And Sabadner, who again, like I mentioned, future apocalypse.
Yes.
And his story was that he used to be a slave and then he rose up against Rama Tut.
Yep.
Who, if anyone recognizes that name, that is Nathaniel Richards, who goes on to be Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
But not sure if they're gonna do Kang the Conqueror. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't if they're gonna bring in Rama Tut, but never know. And maybe they're building their own MCU in the 90s. That'd be dope. But anywho, so a lot of this show is about Magneto trying to be a mentor to Sabadner, Apocalypse, or he's trying to make sure he doesn't become Apocalypse.
Exactly.
He's trying to let him know, like, hey, I'm not perfect either. I did A, B, C, and D, but I learned as mutants you cannot give in to your darkest impulses. So we need to do blah blah blah.
Right.
And there's even that scene with Charles where they do a good job at painting Charles as being very flawed. Whereas the movies, they kind of try to hint at it, especially with Patrick Stewart.
Right.
About trying to make him seem flawed, but they always made him seem like he was this bright beacon of light that could do no wrong. They did do it with McAvoy, where they made him come off as very flawed.
Yeah.
But on this show, Xavier is really flawed. Like he's kind of a fucking dick sometimes. And then Magneto's an upfront dick because he's like, yeah, I'm a dick. I did what I had to do. And then Xavier he does good things, but he's kind of still a dick for the most part. He does things where he's like, I'm doing it for mutants, and it's like, but you're kind of doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
Which
I think they may have brought that up a little bit in this episode where Magneto was just like, you fucking left.
Yeah. Like there's that, like they bring up Genosha where Xavier's like, it wasn't your fault. Magneto's like, no, it was our fault because you wanted me to be just like you. and I'm not you. And I'm just like, again, Magneto's right.
Yeah.
He was right last season, and he's right again this season. And usually in the past, you would think Magneto would have like, motives, which in some ways, yes, but he truly is trying to help Ensabad Nur not cross over to the dark side, which there is kind of a very sweet scene where his group is like pillaging like the villain on this episode, and they show the silhouette of Apocalypse, and it's like similar to, I forget which Star Wars movie where like they show the silhouette of Vader.
That was episode 1. Where they called that one?
Yeah, that was really fucking dope. So then we get to, I guess, the climax where, like, I guess the guy that's with Ensabad Nur, who's been suspicious of Magneto this whole time, pretty much says, like, hey, they've been fucking with you the whole time. Look, they don't even want to be here. They want to go back to their past. And that's when, Ensabad Nur crosses over to the dark side.
Yeah, he's like, liar!
And then he chops off that dude's head, which turns out it's not really a dude. It's a robot. And then I guess his eye sends out like a beacon distress signal to Ramatut. And Ramatut, is like, hey, I got you, motherfucker. Boom. And then sends pretty much like a rocket to wherever they're at. While that's happening, Bishop shows up.
Yes.
And just starts, going crazy on everyone. But the episode ends on a cliffhanger because the place explodes, and then it ends with to be continued.
To be continued. Yes.
So we're not going to know what happened. I mean, obviously those X-Men are fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe.
But we won't find out till this Wednesday.
Yes.
But overall, how'd you feel about episode 3?
I would say still a great episode. I want to knock it, but it's probably my least favorite of the 3.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to knock it, but it's definitely, apocalypse or early apocalypse centric episode, trying to keep him, which I get it. It's part of the plot and get him to not go to full on apocalypse mode. But like I say, it was still a fun episode. I wish we would have gotten more side character. I mean, they're there for fighting, but I was like, oh, there's Beast, there's Nightcrawler, and then they get a few lines in this episode, and that's about it.
Well, the voice actor for Nightcrawler said that pretty much you get more out of Nightcrawler in this season. So I'm happy for that. But yeah, I'm kind of with you where it's just like there's so many characters, and the one thing I appreciated, well, as far, apart from many things I appreciated about, the series, is that as much as I love Wolverine, they didn't try to make it the Wolverine show.
Yep.
They were like, hey, we're going to write an actual X-Men show.
Yep.
And for all his faults, allegedly, some allegedly and some factually, Bo DeMayo went out of his way to be as factual as he could. Hold on.
You're good.
Okay. He went out of his way to try to be as authentic to the story as he could be.
Yeah.
And then he did season 2. Showed him in the credits. He's not going to be part of season 3, which has me a little worried, but we'll see.
Right.
But yeah, he was like, hey, I want to do an actual X-Men story, and they did.
Yeah.
And it's like Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men, and on some occasions, Storm is the leader of the X-Men. Not Wolverine. Wolverine is not the leader of the X-Men, and yeah, that's just how it be. And last season they were like, yeah, Wolverine's gonna be a part of the team. He is not the team. He is a part of the team.
Yeah.
So that's what I loved about it. And I'm again going back to what you said. I kind of hope we get more out of the rest of the team. We'll love more out of Beast. Love more out of not Cyclops. Nightcrawler. Bishop. We got a lot out of Jubilee.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, to shut my ass up. Again, and the other characters. Love to see more out of Polaris. Love to see more out of Havoc. Because it's just like it's not just X-Men in general. It's mutants. Like I want to see more of these mutants. So
Yeah,
that,
and I'm anxious to see because they're going to throw in some cameos. I mean, we had Morph turn into Thor for a little bit, which again I popped for. I was like, oh, all right, we got Thor. So I'm excited to see who they're going to bring in to kind of expand on the story and how long we're going to go with this apocalypse route.
Coke Hogan saying, and Mojo is the heel, right? If you know their reference.
Yeah.
Mojo actually came out last season.
Yep.
Yeah, it's for that one episode. Which
it was the Jubilee episode last season.
It was kind of a weird episode because it was like half and half. Because there was the Mojo episode, which felt like a filler, which was like really a filler episode. And then it was spliced in with an episode about Storm and Forge, which that was actually good.
Yeah.
Because it was actually really dark too and kind of spooky in its own way. That's kind of what I hope out of this series. And again, I think they're going to give it to us because it seems like they actually care about the X-Men and don't just want to make it, about like one or two or three characters. So, but that's X-Men 97 so far, season 2. Like I said, 3 episodes came out last week, and the 4th episode will be
Wednesday. Yes.
But other than that, what else have you been watching, Joseph?
Well, about the only thing I got into new this week is I saw 2 movies. One was fucking fantastic. The other one was okay. I'll start with the one that's okay first, and then you can tell me a little bit about what you've been watching too. We'll just kind of do our back and forth like we always do. So I saw Jackass Last and Forever. Because I grew up, the late 90s, early 2000s, the Jackass series. Saw the first 3 in theaters. I think one's my favorite of all of them. But this one, it was good. There's definitely parts where I squeamered. I had to look away because I don't do well with puking or shit. And there's a lot of shit in this one. But one
Good
thing
shit.
I did, it's not good shit. No, it wasn't. Especially one of the final scenes, which I'll do a little teaser for. I won't give it all away, but it was gross. But one thing I liked about this is it really did feel like a send off. I mean, Knoxville even joked like in the beginning of the movie, is just like, what do you say? Is like, this is a Jackass for everybody who has to go through the prostate exams because they're all in their like upper 40s. I think Johnny's like 50, 52 now.
Yeah.
And so what they did is they kind of intermixed never before seen footage all the way back to before even the pilot episode they rehashed some of like the fans' most favorite parts in the movies and the show to kind of intertwine that with new stuff. So I thought that was a good little mix. Like, oh, I remember this from the first movie or from the TV show. Like they talk about one thing they did that ended up costing them. Nice, Coke. You saw all 3 in the theaters too. Cool. They talked about how their production company was banned from West Hollywood for like 5 to 10 years because of a stunt they tried to pull for the pilot. Ended up getting cops called and Johnny arrested and almost getting sued. But like I said, it was fine. Definitely, it's just a little awkward to see guys in their 50s, getting stuff shoved up their butt or getting ramrodded and abused physically and mentally. But yeah, overall it's fine. The most gross part is, I'm not going to go in full detail, but the final scene deals with them taking very powerful laxatives while wearing clear pants and playing Twister. And I'll leave it at like that. I literally was like this because I was like, I can't watch this. I was like, nope. But like I said, overall, it was a fine film. I would say if you're a fan of the franchise, definitely watch it when it comes to Paramount. Because I think right now Paramount has all of them and the TV show streaming. Um, I definitely think this was better than the last two, but not as good as the first three. I'd probably give it a good 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Watchable, passable, but you didn't need to spend theater money. I guess Ben refused to change diapers. That depends. Wink.
Wait. I have something for that. Wait, I hope so. All right. Oh, wait. No, actually, fuck. I don't have a sound effect for that. God damn it.
It's okay. We'll pretend.
I ruined everything. Anyways, so Jackass. You said 7 out of 10.
Yeah, see, 7 out of 10. Definitely parts I laughed at. Other parts I'm just like, this is kind of cringe watching guys in their 50s do this. But like I said, the way they added the old stuff with the new stuff, I enjoyed that part. But did I need to pay theater money to see this? Probably not. So 7 out of 10. I'd say go out of your way to watch it when it comes to streaming.
All right. Yeah, Jackass was never really my thing. I don't know, just the whole, I mean, again, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum. I don't. If it's your thing, that's awesome. It's just, I don't know, just the whole thing about like, hey, let's beat the shit out of each other. Let's
I'm gonna
hurt
kick
each
my
other.
dad's ass.
You know, hey, this is Tuesday. I'm gonna kick my dad's ass all day long. That was fun.
Yes.
Yeah, just never really got into it, unfortunately. But again, people love it, so
Just
what can I do? I like when people like things.
yes.
Yeah, as long as it's not offensive. Well, depending on what offensive is. But anyway, continue.
No, well, that's one of the two things I watched besides X-Men '97. So, did you want to go with what you've been watching next, Drew, or you want me to just go ahead and get into my grand finale?
Let's do your grand finale, please.
All right. So, I've seen this one is the fifth one of the series. I saw the first 4 in theaters. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Toy Story 5, which has already racked in quite a bit of money. I will say this. I like this better than 4. Almost as good as 3. To me, 3's peak because that ending. And this one, this one had some emotional scenes too. There was 2 scenes I was like, nope, not doing it today. But this definitely deals with something that in Toy Story 5, in case you lived underneath a rock, you don't know what the premise of it is. It's basically dealing with tech and kids and not playing with toys, which is my daughter right now is playing on her iPad, talking to her friends. And it really hits home about how that can affect a child, not only with their imagination, but especially when the parents aren't seeing the signs of when like cyberbullying's happening. They dealt with that in the movie, which again was because I don't want to give too much away because it is a pretty emotional scene. Bonnie, who now is in charge of playing with the toys like Buzz, Jesse, everybody else, and there's this one particular scene where she finally, because she has a, I'll back up a little bit. She's having a disconnect, trying to make new friends, and all these new kids she's come interacting with are what? They're on their lily pads.
Yeah.
And so she finally, when the parents realize, all these other kids are doing it, I think she's at that right age. Let's get her that lily pad too. And what happens? Spinner. No, Fidget Spinner is not the villain. Maybe if that would have came out around COVID time, then maybe.
Maybe.
But no, the real villain is actually, I'm not going to say a real villain, but the lily pad is kind of the antagonist in this movie.
Yeah.
Um, and but there's things they work out. So, but again, I don't want to do full spoilers. But there's this point in the film where she gets bullied because she's talking to her friends. Like she kind of gets like made fun of, and then kind of people tackle on in the group chat that her and her friends are in, and she gets in, and you're seeing it from like uh, Jesse's perspective of her being upset, and then the parents are trying to figure out, hey, what's going on, and then Bonnie's not wanting to open up because she doesn't want to lose her friends either. So I mean that pulls at the heartstrings a little bit because I think that's one thing that parents these days, if they don't deal with it or tackle it, they need to because you need to be aware of what your kids are doing on their tech devices, whatever it will be, and make sure it's being monitored. Make sure stuff like cyberbullying isn't happening, and make sure what they're doing is appropriate. Um, and the other big thing with this that Jesse is trying to, this is very Jesse forward story, where all the previous ones has there been about Woody and Buzz or Woody or Buzz. Um, because in this one they have to call. If you haven't watched the fourth one, Woody leaves with Bo Peep to kind of do his own little family thing, which it
Right.
turns out he's just like right down the street from them all. Which I was like, oh, I thought he was like across town. Like, no, he's in walkie-talkie distance. And and Woody comes back to try to help Jesse and them kind of get through the lily pad. Like, hey, we can all be Bonnie's toys here. Um, and of course, that's where, if you've seen the trailer, because Woody's getting older, he has a bald spot and he has a little bit of a dad bod because he's getting worn out. He's getting up there in age. And so as they're going through this, not Bonnie, Jesse is trying to figure out a way to reconnect with Bonnie. And it revisits how and why Jesse got left behind.
Hmm.
And that scene is really emotional, which again, I'm not going to give everything away. They do tie everything up in a nice little bow, saying again, this is until Disney says we want more money. Which I can see them doing some spinoffs and whatnot. Because I think Keanu Reeves says like he wouldn't mind doing a spinoff of his Johnny
Oh,
Boom or
I mean, it's fucking Keanu Reeves. If Keanu Reeves wants it, they better give it to him.
kids. But they wrap it up nicely. There's again deals with topics that are very relatable. Kind of like how all the Toy Stories have been. I consider the fourth one the weakest one. I mean, it kind of deals with the fact that you get older, you play with your toys less, especially in a tech-driven world as we are these days. And again, just you know, from the toys' perspective, being left behind and forgotten. So I thought they tackled some really good animation's great. I mean, Toy Story's never faltered in that when it came to their animation. Um, but yeah, I was like, if you were two teenagers today, would you be discussing Toy Story on a podcast? Or think, that's for kids. Why would we want to talk about those movies? Well, I've always been a movie person, and
Yeah.
Drew, I believe you've been too. So I think we would still talk about it because
I mean, I think kids nowadays. Well, seems weird to say kids, but now we're adults.
adults,
I have gray on this beard. I think teenagers nowadays, like the younger generation, the Gen Z, whatever the fuck you want to call them, like I don't really think they look at it that way. I mean,
right?
personally, because like movies. I mean, we both go to movies, obviously, and like I scope out the crowd, and I see teenagers there. I see teenagers there for human dramas. for animated movies, for superhero movies. I'll even see some there who probably shouldn't be there for rated R movies.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not judging because I used to sneak in, partially because my older brother didn't want to pay for me. But that's shouldn't be admitting that on the show. But statute limitations. I don't know what statute limitations has to do with sneaking into a movie, but you know what I mean. But no, I don't really see it that way. I honestly wouldn't see it that way. But yeah, Toy Story 5.
I gave it 10 out of 10. I loved it. I've got the first 4 on Blu-ray. I'm gonna try to. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if any of those are on 4K yet. But I'd probably would get that as a big bundle pack and pay too much money for it. But yeah, this is definitely something. I mean, this is if you go in as a single dude by yourself seeing a Toy Story. I mean, I'm not judging, but this is definitely like a really great movie to take your kids, go as a family. That's one thing I saw is I saw shit ton of families there, parents with their kids. I saw a few couples there that my first thing was like, oh, they probably grew up on this. Like, oh, let's finish out this series. But yeah, I loved it. Go see it in theaters if you can. Definitely watch it on streaming, or it's a must buy for me. So I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Coca's saying he hasn't been to the movie since 2016.
Damn, son. Well, sometimes some people aren't into movies, and that's okay. No judgment.
Yeah, true. You'll never catch us judging.
No.
Like, I'm not going to be the kind of person that shakes you by your collar and goes, "You must like the same things as me.
Yeah.
You must." Like, I'll never do that. And,
right.
Again, just people, different strokes for different folks.
Yep.
And also, movie theaters are expensive, so I can understand.
Yes.
That. And so is gas. Theater etiquette, I think, has probably gotten a little worse, in my opinion, because, because I see people on their phones. I mean, I don't see it every single time, but then there's the occasional person who just does this.
Right.
And it's like, I can at least maybe let it slide if you just have it on your lap and I can't see it. But then there's the people who literally put it right in front of their fucking face when they're sitting in front of me. And then I have to be the cocksucker that goes, "Can you put away your phone, please?"
Right.
That's what happened in back rooms. And a freaking entire, like a packed theater of people. There's that one bitch. And I hate to say bitch, but in this case, she was a bitch. That had her phone up here the whole fucking time.
That drive me crazy.
And I just said, "Can you please put away your phone?" And then she put away her phone. So, Coke is saying I can't just walk in and buy a ticket today. I mean, you can actually.
You still can. I mean, yeah. Actually, at the one theater here in town, you can go in and still get.
Yeah, they have kiosks. You can just go into the kiosk and just order your tickets there. You can order your food there too. Yeah, I mean everything is online. I mean, I have my Regal Pass, so I'm lucky. Do you have a Regal Pass, Joe? Or do you have a pass of any kind, Joe?
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with the movie theater. It's a big Midwest theater company called B&B Theaters. That's the only theater company we have. They've been around for 100 years. But they're big on the leather seats with the heated seats, and they have a Screen X. They have a couple 4D. It's only like an 8 theater thing, but our Regal, our AMC 14 closed down a couple years ago, which was sad. So yeah, we just had the one here in town, but I have the B&B pass, which means, of course, you spend so much money, you get discounts, you get free combos on your birthday. But every Tuesday is half off. So it doesn't matter if it's a 4D or regular. I mean, all day Tuesday, you can go see a movie for like $6.
It's $5 here, my friend. Yes. So we have Regal, which is what I do the pass for. We also have I guess it's a San Antonio brand. It's called Santikos.
Okay.
Which we have one downtown where that's where they have the IMAX theater.
Gotcha.
which we haven't been there in a while because I don't have IMAX money anymore. I used to have IMAX money. Now I don't.
Oof.
And then we have one by work, or not by work, by our house. It's called Casablanca, that got built 10 years ago. And it's kind of a weird theater. I mean, it's a nice theater actually, but it has a bowling alley in it. And I'm like,
Oh, that's
why do you?
different.
Yeah, I'm like, why do you need a bowling alley in a movie theater? Like that just seems excessive, in my opinion. You know, if it's your thing, then that's awesome. Yeah, and Coke is asking you two might as well see the new Spidey in 4D. I mean, I'm seeing it. I know Joe's seeing it.
Yeah.
I'm seeing
I
it.
don't. Are you seeing it in 4D? Or are you
No.
seeing it like on a Screen X? Okay. Yeah, 4D. Past couple times I've done 4D, it's just been. I'm like, I get like my back.
I've heard nuts. I've heard things about it where I'm like, no thanks. Where it's like you're literally experiencing everything in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy I didn't see the Furious in there. Would have just been a guy punching me in the face.
Oh, I saw Deadpool and Wolverine in 4D. It was anything that happened to Ryan Reynolds' ass happened to my ass. So
It's just a guy stabbing you with Wolverine claws.
I liked it. Yeah.
But no, I'm doing the early screening on Wednesday before it comes out. And yeah, we're gonna be seeing it in the RPX theater.
Nice.
Which is RPX is like essentially another version of IMAX, except yeah, the screen's big, but IMAX is like huge. Whereas RPX is still huge, but it's like medium huge. If that makes sense.
Yes. Above
You know what I
average,
mean?
as they say.
Yeah, above average. So I'm about the size. Which it is. But yeah, seeing in that, and I'm stoked. I want it to be the 29th already.
I know. I'm ready to nerd out.
To which Sadie Sink essentially kind of revealed who she is.
Yep.
Which is just like, okay, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I want to find out. I already know, but I want to know on my own.
Yeah.
But
and it's like I've already know so much, but just based on the trailer. So I'm just like, I want to go in and get as many surprises as possible.
Like I don't even want to hear any theoretical spoilers. I just want to find this out on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's what you've been watching.
Yep.
All right. So I watched a human drama, an adult drama.
Ooh.
Which every now and then it's good to kind of, remind yourself, hey, I'm an adult. Like I need to maybe watch. I need to kind of, palate a lot of the
Bring it down.
kitty things that I like and watch more realistic adult dramas. I watched a movie yesterday called Is God Is.
Heard about that. Heard it's real good.
Which again heard good things about. Didn't know too much about. I mean, I know it's a revenge movie. That's the gist of it. I really like this movie. I thought it was very, very good. I'm just gonna say it's in my top 10 at the moment. I wouldn't say it's my favorite movie of the year, but it's in my top 10. So it's based on a play, which it's directed by the same person who created the play.
Oh, okay.
The same person who wrote and created the play, who also directed and wrote this movie. I want to give this individual credit, Alicia Harris.
Yep.
And it's done by Orion Pictures, which is weird because I thought they were like out of business. But it's a Southern revenge flick where it's centered around these two twins who were in a terrible like fire when they were younger. Their mom, who's played by Vivica A. Fox, who shows up for one scene, and she's really good when she's in that one scene, and she lets them know because she's essentially their long lost mom, because after the accident happened, they were put into foster care.
Gotcha.
And she describes what happened, that your dad, who had a restraining order, just showed up in the house. And then, set me on fire. And the dad's played by Sterling K. Brown. And what they do in the movie is like, obviously, it's Sterling K. Brown, but like they throughout the whole movie, they cover his face, to which all you see is his nose and his mouth. And Sterling K. Brown's amazing in this film. Sterling K. Brown's amazing in everything I've seen him in, but even like until the end of the film, all you're seeing is his mouth, and you're just seeing his teeth, and you're seeing him laugh. It's like he plays just this very vile, diabolical, almost pretty much evil character that you can't help but want to see more of, because he's just so magnetic and just has this aura and this presence to him. And he's great in the film. And of course, he comes at the end, and he kind of has that. It's weird to compare everything to Homelander, some Homelander-esque quality to him, where he's like, "I'm the good guy. I'm really the good guy. Your mom is really at fault." And I'm even getting tensed up. I'm like, okay, when's it gonna happen? When's the reveal gonna happen?
Right.
And then the reveal happens, and like I felt like I got hit.
Wow.
Like he hit me. I went, ugh. And he does it without having to yell. Like he doesn't do the whole "I'm gonna yell about everything, I'm crazy." Like he just says it in this very like deep, relaxed tone, where he's like, "I'm glad I did what I did," pretty much. And I'm like,
ooh,
and
like
so
Jake Roberts kind of tone.
pretty much. But yeah, the rest of the movie, the two actresses who played the twins, I thought they were good too, because they had good chemistry. You bought them as twins. Like it wasn't just actresses playing twins; like they were actually twins, and both had different personalities. One was very much about like, "Let's kill this fucker," and then the other one was like, "We're not killers. Like we shouldn't be doing this. Like we're basically no better than him." And then you had a great, cast of supporting characters in the film. You had Janelle Monáe, who played actually the current wife of Sterling K. Brown's character. And again, a lot of these actors really only come out for one scene. And when they do come out for one scene, it's effective. It works.
Gotcha.
It's kind of a dark comedy too, but the comedy doesn't bleed into the drama too much.
Gotcha.
Like they allow the comedy to have its day. And there's really only one scene where there's comedy, and that's where they find another mistress of the husband, and she's a church-going woman. She actually has her own like church at her own home, and it's funny, but it's one of those things of like, I'm just gonna say this, and this is gonna sound wrong. This is a very black-centric film. There's no whitey in this film whatsoever. So the scenes I'm laughing at, I'm like, should I be laughing at this? I don't know if I'm allowed to laugh at this. But yeah, the scene in the church I thought was funny. But it wasn't it was over the top enough, but it wasn't like, we're gonna be cartoonishly level. And I guess my only criticisms are just like, I guess, certain character choices. Like there's one character in particular where it seems like they're going to do more with it, and then they just kind of leave it alone. I'm like, oh, I guess because this is only a 90-minute movie, we gotta move it along. I guess
right.
Whatever. And then there's another character who seems like he's, I guess, the more level-headed one in the bunch. And then all of a sudden he just turns on. He's like, "I'm going to kill you." I'm like, oh, that's quick.
I came out of left field.
I'm like, all right, I guess I get it. Sure. But I was engaged. The film, there's no drag in it. It's like 90-ish minutes. Has really good pacing. It's shot well. I mentioned earlier it's based on a play. You can kind of tell because just the way it's shot and a lot of the character arcs. Like whenever you get to a new character, you have that actor do a voiceover introducing their character.
Gotcha.
Almost like you're watching a play. And I said this in a review I wrote earlier, where it's like I said Tarantino-esque. It has kind of like Tarantino-esque qualities to it. But overall, I really liked it. I would recommend it to anyone. I gave it a B+.
Nice.
It creeped up into my top 10. Glad I watched it. I believe it should be on VOD already. So.
Gotcha. Now you said it was is it drama with like, because when you say revenge, I of course think of revenge, or I think of, so is it like a drama with horror elements, or is it just more of like a very serious, two sisters trying to track down this guy who did this to their mother?
Well, I mean, it's not really horror. Okay. I mean, I guess if you want to say like, who Sterling K. Brown plays is like he's a real person. and that's scary, then sure. But like, it's not really horror. It's more
Okay.
it's a dark comedy / revenge thriller.
Gotcha. Cool.
It's not like overly done action, because I think that wouldn't really make sense for the tone of the film, which is supposed to be more practical. Because for the most part, the character, like one of the characters, she puts a rock in a sock and just uses that to like beat people up with.
Nice.
And then we get to like the ending fight scene, which again, that felt more realistic. And because it was just like, I don't want to give away too much, but like,
right.
that's how the film ends. And like, it actually made sense for how the film ended, because I was like, oh shit. And then it ended. And then I'm like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense, because it's kind of like full circle.
Right.
And then something a particular character mentioned, I'm like, oh, they brought that back around. But there's also something. There's also something kind of sweet, for one of the characters. One of the other sisters, she's the one that got burnt the worst, because like her whole face is like burnt, whereas the other sister, she only got her arm burnt. So her face looks, I hate to say it, normal. So the other sister who got burnt, in some ways, she's kind of the main character of the film.
Okay.
So then it kind of goes back to her, where she finds a way to love herself.
Gotcha.
Because she's all about like, imagine if he didn't do this to us. I would have looked normal. And then she found out like, I love myself, and she has a purpose. Like there's something that happens to her that gives her purpose, and then that coincides with the end of the movie, or the story. So overall, I really like the film. I love the performances. It's weird. It's like in my top 10, I always have these very obscure films where people are like, what? And I'm like, just watch it. It's a really good film. Last year was Sorry Baby. I don't think anyone ever heard of that. That was that creeped up into my top 10. And then the previous year was Strange Darling.
Right.
I think Strange Darling was like my favorite of 2020.
It was yeah, it was my favorite movie too.
But yeah, Is God Is.
Is God Is.
Give that a watch, my peeps. What else we got? And then the other thing I watched is a series I finished. It's on Shudder. I have the AMC Plus account, so it comes to Shudder. It's The Devil in Silver.
Ah, yes.
Which it's a part of a recurring series on Shudder called Terror, which there's 2 other series which I haven't watched, but this is the one that kind of caught my eye the most. And it's based on a book. Stars Dan Stevens, who's again, if you've seen anything with Dan Stevens, he's always playing a crazy guy. he's always weird. And what's one thing I appreciate about Dan Stevens is that he's such a handsome guy. And he could have easily just been like, I'm going to take the cash grab roles where I'm Mr. Handsome. And he's like, no, I want to do weird shit.
Yeah.
I want to do movies like The Guest and Cuckoo.
Or Legion.
Godzilla. Fun fact, he was almost Dr. Doom.
Oh, that's right. I've read that. Yes.
Yeah. Noah, I forget his name. Kitty. Is that a kitty or a dog?
That's a dog. It's Duncan.
Oh, dog. What's up, Duncan? No, forget his name. Noah. Who was the showrunner for Legion, wrote a script for a Dr. Doom movie. And based on the details of it, it sounded like it was going to be this comic I read called Book of Doom.
Okay.
And he actually turned it into Kevin Feige, but this was years ago when they were doing the merger. So
right.
Didn't happen, and Dan Stevens was attached to it. So that would have been very interesting. But Devil in Silver, it's a horror series. And the premise of the series is that Dan Stevens plays a New Yorker named Pepper. I think the series is set in like the 90s or the 2000s. They didn't specify, but it seemed like I guess you can call it a period piece, even though it was like 20 some years ago. Which at this point, 20 some years ago was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
But he plays someone that gets arrested for beating up his I guess his current girlfriend's ex-husband.
Yep.
Beats him up, and then these police officers who are not in uniform, who don't, show who they are. He accidentally punches one of them, and then he gets arrested. But instead of getting thrown in the slammer, he gets thrown into this mental facility. You find out that, crazy. And then you find out that these cops are actually in cahoots with this mental facility, so they can get paid. New York City cops are corrupt. Shocker. I wonder if John Draper knew this. But shout out to John Draper. Yes. It's 6 episodes. It's he's trapped in this mental facility and there's shit going on. I don't want to give away too much, but you find out that this facility in general just has had some crazy shit going on. It's haunted by a demonic entity, which they don't really explain what it is. And in some ways, like it I think sometimes it does help when you don't always need to hold someone's hand and tell them everything. But in this case, they just kind of assume you would know what this thing is. I'm like, I still don't know what this thing is.
Right. It's like, take your own interpretation.
I mean, they do give you a backstory, I guess, to the origin of the thing or the person that's inhabiting the thing. I never really got scared during the show. There are times where I got tensed up. Like I was very interested in the characters. I'll say that. Dan Stevens, he's pretty much the star of the show. You also have Judith Light, who plays, the longest resident there. Who she's been there since the 60s because, again, like back in the day, if you were depressed or crazy, they would just throw you in the nut house.
Yep.
It's not like it is nowadays where like mental health is taken more seriously. But back in the day, it's like you had to be happy. You couldn't be sad all the time. If you were sad all the time, you got thrown in the mental institution. Like it's just how it is, unfortunately. And Stephen Root shows up for a few episodes. It's weird. I was watching this and Widow's Bay at the same time, and I just saw Stephen Root in 2 different things. And he's good for the time he's in there. And yeah, the show's only 6 episodes. Very kind of a slow burn. It takes a while to kind of get to the good stuff, and when it does, that's when you get more invested. And then the ending of the show, the climax, I'll say this, it made sense because I hate whenever nowadays horror movies don't do that anymore. I mean, good ones where they have to tie everything up in a bow and be like, everyone's happily ever after. Yay. It's like, no, they're not. Whereas, the better ones are like, no, shit ain't, nobody's happy. Nobody's happily ever after. Nope. It's like at the end of Weapons, it's like, yeah, we found the kids. Those kids are going to be fucked for the rest of their life.
Yep. And we all know how Obsession ended.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So this is how it kind of ends, where like it kind of has a quote unquote happy ending, but at the cost of, somebody having to kind of sacrifice, I guess not sacrifice their life, but sacrifice their well-being.
Gotcha.
And it kind of makes sense, but it's one of those things I'm like, yeah, I kind of call bullshit on that. So, but again, if you have a Shudder account, if you have an AMC Plus account, and you like horror. Show's not necessarily scary, but there's good performances.
Gotcha.
I'll say that, and it also has that feeling of isolation and claustrophobia because they're stuck inside an insane asylum all the time. And then the last 2 episodes are kind of nuts. I'll just leave it at that. Pun intended. Gotcha. But I would probably give this maybe like a C. A basic C. Yeah. But that's everything I've been watching. You already discussed what you've been watching.
Yes.
All right. So, so in coordinates with Sony, we're no longer gonna have people on this show. It's not going to be 2 human beings talking about movies and TV shows. We're just going to be replaced by AI robots.
Yes.
starting next week. Hey, Joe.
Hi, Drew.
Hey, how did you feel about Evil Dead Burn? Question mark.
It was fine and enjoyable.
Applause.
Wait, more applause.
Jesus Christ. So, if anyone's been living under a rock, Sony put out a thing, I believe, either last week or the week prior, that starting on January of 2028, they're going to go discless.
Not to be confused with dickless.
I mean, they're dickless too.
I mean, that's,
But
yes.
so physical media is already a dying art form, as we've been, seeing. Our boy Shaheen, shout out to Shaheen. He's very much a huge proponent of physical media. I mean, look at his house; it's full of physical media.
Yes.
I want to get there too. Like, I'm trying to buy old movies that I can't find on streaming, and even if they are on streaming, they get taken off of streaming.
Yep.
So before we get into the discussion, physical media is important.
Very.
Whether it's movies, TV shows, or video games, please support physical media, because I don't think Best Buy stopped selling physical media, right?
Yeah, where I'm at here, Best Buy no longer has it. Neither does Target. About the only place that sells physical media is Walmart. And then we got a few locally owned, like we got a vintage stock. We got a place that sells video games and movies. So we support those around here and there because they're trying to keep physical media alive.
And half price books, they sell physical media.
Barnes and Noble, Barnes and Noble too. I don't want to forget about
Barnes and Noble. Coke Hogan says FYE. I don't think they sell physical media anymore.
I haven't seen an FYE since like early 2000s.
There's one at our mall. That's the gist of what I do. So yeah, Sony is there was that thing where they took off, I think, like 500 specific or like 50 or 500 specific movies.
Yep.
Off of their PlayStation store. So if you bought a movie off of there and that's a part of that list, it's gone because you don't own the license to this shit. Same thing with games too. That's why a lot of people are switching to Steam, because you can purchase the license.
Yep.
That's what you got Humble Bundle for, which at this point I'm thinking about going to Steam. This is fucking stupid. And they have to.
It's all about big corporations, big business. They have more control over us when we can't physically have something of theirs. And it's going to get worse. I mean, when it goes to full digital, I mean, don't be surprised if they go, if you want to play this game, you have to have internet. If you want to have this game. And to me, if you're going to go full digital, make the games fucking lesser.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand if I want to pay 80, when Grand Theft Auto comes out. Yeah, I get it. Pay $100 for that deluxe edition physical copy. But if you're going to force me to do it digitally, make it cheaper.
That's the thing. It's just like, I think it started with Grand Theft Auto because like it has it has like a lot of memory or like bytes on it, and that's why they're switching to digital with the PS6. Which I said this on the experience, and I mean it. My PS5, that's the last console I'm getting. I'm not getting any more consoles. I'm good. I'm done with that. I'm getting Wolverine when it comes out, but that's about it. Like you said, make them cheaper. Don't put so much fucking memory or hard drive on it. Agreed. But it's like, video games are becoming the new movies because you have to look as realistic as possible. And, there's people that, they play old games and it's like, oh, look at those graphics. Oh, that's so dated. And it's like, I don't know, man. I'm happy. Like, I don't need to play a movie. I just want to play a video. Like, it's that simple. And these greedy corporation fucks, at the end of the day, people are still going to buy the shit.
Yep.
Despite what we think.
Exactly.
It's like with TKO. TKO doesn't care because people are still showing up to the arenas. They're going to show up to the arenas at the pay-per-views. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's obviously going to be Americans going to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania, which is fucking gross. And the second people stop showing up to the shows is when they're going to realize, I wonder what we did wrong.
Right.
It's like that line in Trading Places with Eddie Murphy where he's talking to Dan Aykroyd. He's like, you want to know how to get back at a rich guy? Get inside his wallet.
Yep.
Or go after the wallet. And that's pretty much how it's going to be with these corporations. And, going with Sony is that everyone's going to fucking reserve their PS6 copy regardless.
Yep.
And like digital, I got no problem with digital. Like sometimes if it's a specific game and I'm just like, I'll just buy it on here because it's cheaper or whatever the fuck. But for the most part, like if it's a big game I want, I like to have the hard copy. You know what I mean? Like the Wolverine, I want to get the hard copy.
Right.
All my other games I have hard copies of. And just to take away that option and to just be like, it's going to be this. And then pretty soon games are going to be $100.
That's what the deluxe edition of Grand Theft Auto is going to be.
You like Madden? Well, guess what? That's going to be $100. You like NBA 2K? $100. You want to play Grand Theft Auto 7? $100. Special edition, $200.
Yeah.
And guess what's going to happen, Joe? People are still going to pay for them.
Yep. Unfortunately.
And that's all Sony cares about.
And here's the thing too, is when everything's digital, they're going to control the market. I want to do a quick example of this. So about, I'd say half a year ago, because I have Red Dead Redemption 2 on not the newest Xbox, but the one before that Red Dead came out on. What was that, the one?
Yeah, it was one.
And I've been debating. I was like, I really want it for my PlayStation 5 too, because recently I've been playing more PlayStation 5 than my Xbox, which might go back to playing more Xbox. Even though I think Microsoft is beginning to do the same thing and just going to be completely digital. But when I went to the online store, I was like, oh, I'm just curious, what is Red Dead Redemption 2 right now? And on the Sony store, they wanted $49.99 for a PlayStation 4 game or PlayStation 3. I can't remember. But anyways, and it wasn't 4K. They did make the graphics a little bit better, a little bit smoother for the PS5, but $49.99. I went down the street to Walmart. They had it brand new for $18.99. So guess what I did?
It's like, yeah, fuck you, Sony. Fuck you.
Yeah. So, and they're getting massive amounts of hate. And again, people are still going to buy the PS6. They're still going to buy the physical copies. It's just they're going to be able to control it. Like, oh, you want this game? Well, it's always going to be $49.99. Unless it's, Black Christmas or Amazon days or something where they're like, oh, we're going to take 20% off for this week. But they're going to control the market. I mean, they even have it right now where if you have like the Sony Pass and you download a game from it and you have your internet disconnected for more than 30 days, you don't get that game anymore. So it's gonna drama. But yeah, it's just more ways for big corporations to bend us over and have their way with us. So
yeah, we're not even getting fucked. We're getting fisted.
All the
while GameStop's in the corner, like, hey, buddy.
Remember me?
Exactly. GameStop's gonna make a comeback, or at least they think they do. But long story short, kiddos, adults, boys and girls, physical media.
Yes,
it's always the way to go. So go to your local bookstores, like a Barnes and Nobles or Half Price Books, or CD Exchange, or Traders Village. They have movies. They have movies. So please support physical media, peeps.
Yes.
It's very important. It's a dying art form, and we need to fight against the man.
Yes.
While I have Netflix on. Hey, I gotta. It's one bad offer another. No pun intended. Yep. So that was that part of the news. Let me pull up one bit of news that I found. Come on. Hey, Joe.
Hey, suspense is killing me.
Have you heard of a film called Obsession?
Oh, I have. That's going to be my top 5 this year. That's a doozy.
Yes,
that's a doozy.
Yes. I've seen it 2 times already, and gosh darn it, it's my number 1.
All right.
Yeah, Obsession dropped on VOD. Already watched it 2 more times. Love it even more. There's even things I started to notice about where I'm like, ooh, that's good. It's a great film. People watch it if you haven't already.
Yes.
But the star of the film, Indy Never Ready.
A sweetheart of a lady.
And she's fucking awesome too. I just see her interview. She just seems like a down to earth, chill person. She's as you can imagine, she's getting a lot of roles passed her way. So on Forbes, she mentioned that she's been talking to a lot of directors, a lot of famous directors. Well, Forbes actually put up the article. So the interview was with something called Nylon. It says, Navarrete confirms she's met with quite a few directors, one of which is Michael Mann, who's about to film the prequel to Heat, which Heat's one of my favorite films. And if she's in it, that's dope. Another director she's met with is a fellow by the name of Jake Schreier, who, if anyone doesn't know that name, he did stuff like Beef, which I heard good things about. Never watched it. He also did the Thunderbolts, which I love. The Thunderbolts didn't do well financially, but I loved it. It's one of my favorite MCU films. It's top 15. Jake Schreier is also doing another Marvel property, which coincides with the topic we discussed earlier. He's doing the which Navarrete said straight up, like, hey, I'll do a Marvel film. Fuck it. And
do it.
I put up a thing on social media where I just kind of jokingly said, film bros are going to be like, oh, she needs to do more thought-provoking human dramas. Ho, ho, ho. And it's like, this girl's got fucking, she said in an interview recently, they finished Obsession a year and a half ago. I don't think people understand how indie films work. So this isn't like big budget Hollywood films where they're a sure thing to be, greenlit. Indie films are tough because it's a hard sell because, well, maybe not so much this year, but nowadays, indie films are tough to find a distributor because it's like, who's going to want to watch this? You know what I mean? So you always try your luck at Fantastic Fest, at Sundance Film Festival, at South by Southwest, and Obsession was making the rounds at a lot of those festivals, to where Focus Features was actually the studio that filmed it, but Blumhouse ultimately picked it up. And for better or for worse, whatever you want to say about Blumhouse, they're a big studio. They're the biggest horror studio out there. Especially got more money behind them, and they marketed the fuck out of Obsession. And Obsession, it's currently making money, and it just came out on VOD, and it's still in theaters.
It made a little bit of money.
A little bit, and it made over $400 on a $750,000 budget. And unfortunately, a lot of the actors in that film, I think even the hairstylist said that they didn't see a cent. And it's unfortunate, but that's just how it works, because, again...
That's the breaks. I mean, that's... Unfortunately, when you're doing an independent movie, you're going to get paid independent prices. And if it becomes a huge success, you can't really go back like, well, I should have got paid more. It's doing so well. Obsession is a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, it's like a needle in a haystack that you gotta like really find while you're getting like poked with all the other needles. But like it succeeded because it had strong word of mouth. It was a low budget, independently made horror film.
Yeah.
Where all it had was just 5 actors in like 4 locations, and it had a good script, it had good characters, and it had a good lead actress. So, and then the word of mouth helped it too, and it's still making bank.
Yep.
You know, the studio wanted to put it on VOD like 2 weeks into it being in theaters, but then they're like, "Oh no, this is making money. We can't do that yet," and it's still making money. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, going back to Indy Never Ready, that film was done filming a year and a half ago, and she said like I wasn't getting auditions, so the only way I could make money for my rent is either to do streaming on Twitch or to walk dogs. And now because of Obsession, she's becoming a household name, and she's meeting with a lot of like big time directors. For someone like Indy Never Ready, who's like she sees that and she goes, money. Like at the end of the
that
day,
money while you can.
Like yeah, it is about a script, but in this case for her, it's like I need to make money. You know, this isn't like a Mikey Madison who won an Oscar for doing an independently made film and was able to say, "Hey, I'm not interested in doing a Star Wars film, and I don't want to be in Resident Evil. I'd rather do this."
Right.
Like she has that ability to say, "No, thanks, I want to do this." With Indy, she's someone that's never been a lead in anything.
First role.
Yeah, first leading role. The only thing I know her from was from Superman and Lois, and she was just a supporting character. And then she was in other shows where she was a supporting character. Now she has a chance to really flex her muscles and show that she is a good lead and that she has screen presence. So for her to be offered Marvel, which is like a 30-40 billion dollar franchise, it's like ka-ching.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I was done, Brandon. Go ahead.
Oh, I would say there's that famous thing that Samuel Jackson said about Bruce Willis gave him advice like, if you can get attached to a franchise, do it. Get that money while you can. That's why he ended up doing Nick Fury and Star Wars, because he was attached to it, because he knows, hey, I'm going to get the back end of this for years to come. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you can get on that Marvel chain.
Yeah, and Samuel Jackson's like, he's the highest grossing actor in Hollywood.
Yeah. And heck, even if you get on Heat, I mean, man, that has heavy hitters in it. Leo, Bale, countless others. I mean, get it.
So
tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Yeah, it's just like, again, a lot of these film bros, and we do know some film bros. I'm not going to say who, you know who you are, who again are going to be of that mindset of like, I'd rather see her in this. I don't want her to be trapped in that Marvel. Ooh, I'd rather see her do this. And it's like, dude, you don't pay her bills. Like, people got bills to pay. Like, thought-provoking dramas don't pay the bills, unfortunately. And this girl, she said straight up, like, I got bills to pay. So, but yeah, she said she's talking to Jake Schreier. And again, his next film is, the X-Men. And
my only hope is, I don't want this to sound douchey, but I hope she doesn't like change who she is and become molded into that Hollywood.
True. Yeah.
Like, Jenny Ortega, who was a Disney kid, but then started doing good stuff. Then she started getting molded into that. And then she kind of has tapered off, in my opinion. So
the perfect example was Florence Pugh, because she started off doing indie stuff, and she still does indie stuff. And she said that whenever she, went to Marvel, that the independent film community was like, "Oh, you're doing that?" And she's like, "Yeah." And actually she's done, I think, more indie films than Marvel films.
Yeah, she's been in 3 Marvel things now.
Yeah, she was in Ari Aster film.
Oh, Midsommar.
She was in a movie I like called A Good Person.
Okay.
She was in that movie with Andrew Garfield last year, which I hadn't seen, but I heard good things.
I've seen a lot
Oppenheimer.
of clips of that.
Oppenheimer. She was in, well, Dune's a big budget film, but yeah, she still does indie films. So for people to do the whole, I guess we lost her. It's like, no, you haven't lost her. Like she does the Marvel stuff, but um, I'm gonna pull up this tweet. Robbie Richmond, fine fellow.
Good fun. Fine fellow, that Robbie Richmond.
He brought up some good points. So he commented on it. He said, and her becoming a star with Marvel is how she'll have a big enough name to attract funding to smaller indie projects. And he's right.
Yep.
And I just have some examples of like other like Marvel actors who've gone on to have success outside of that. So Florence Pugh, I name one. Benedict Cumberbatch. Well, I mean, he was kind of a proven name before Marvel with like,
I mean, Sherlock Holmes or
Sherlock, but I think again, he's another one of those actors, like you see him in more non-Marvel stuff than Marvel stuff, ever since he started playing Doctor Strange. Liz Olsen.
Oh, my bleeding heart.
Love her. And Sebastian Stan.
Yep.
Who's again gone on to show that he's a leading man. That the whole group with him and Buck and Sam and Chris, like Sebastian has wanted to become the better actor. He's done films like Fresh. He played Donald Trump in a film, which he got a nomination for. He did that film Different Man, which he got an Oscar nod for.
And I love that movie.
Heard good things. I haven't seen it, but I will watch it. And he's doing a film that's coming out this year, which is supposed to get a lot of Oscar buzz, where he's playing we all know, Sebastian Stan in real life, he's Romanian, and he's going to be playing a Romanian character in this film.
Oh,
and
nice.
He looks unrecognizable. He's like bald, wearing glasses, and like a beard, a stubble beard. And then he's going to be in the Batman, which again, not a small independent film, but like, he's gone to show that he is a great. Oh, Pam and Tommy. There you go. He played Tommy Lee. So, yeah, a lot of these big actors that have that Marvel credibility to them, they get more eyes and ears on their product. Like, for example, I don't know if I would call this, a small independent film, but it's like Ryan Coogler with Sinners, where I don't think anybody would. Well, I shouldn't say anybody, but like you had Ryan Coogler who did things that people like Black Panther and Creed. And then you had Michael B. Jordan, you had Haley Steinfeld. So you had actors in this film and a director that people liked and that had, good word of mouth. And look at what happened with Sinners. I don't know how much the budget for Sinners was, but yeah, it went on to be one of the most successful. I have this thing with Sinners where, like, obviously I love Sinners. I don't know if I would call it a horror film. Like the whole,
I don't know if I'd call it. I don't know if I'd call it straight up horror. There's definitely horror elements. Spoiler, non-spoiler, vampires. But it definitely had more depth to that, especially being a period piece. But yeah, I'd agree with you. I wouldn't call it a straight up horror.
But yeah, the Marvel thing helps.
Yeah.
The superhero thing helps too, because like Christian Bale, before he became Batman, yeah, like if you were like the biggest American Psycho fan, you knew who he was. But other than that, nobody really knew who Christian Bale was.
Yeah. You know what movie he did before Batman Begins came out? It was a movie called The Machinist.
Yeah,
which was a very independent movie, which I think that got him the role for Batman Begins.
Yeah, which is funny because someone called that Batman Begins eating.
Yes.
I saw The Machinist. It's a really, it's a rough film. It's a good film. It's a rough film to watch.
Yeah.
It's just again, it's just like, oh, is that the guy from Newsies?
Yes, it is.
Oh, is that the guy from Little Women? Like, oh yeah, that's that guy. I don't know his name, but that's that guy. So he got cast as Batman, and Christian Bale is like probably the most least Hollywood guy out there. Like the guy still drives a truck. He still drives like a 97 Tacoma or Toyota or something like that. Like that's how non-Hollywood he is. And he talked about playing Batman because like he had people tell him it would be career suicides if he played Batman. He's like, hey, bring it on. And
Yeah.
he's very content with his career. He's like, hey, if you only know me as Batman, that's awesome.
Yeah. And
because,
this. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, because for him, it's just like, hey, Batman paid off my house. I was able to get my name passed around to other directors to do other films because I worked with Nolan and these writers. So, that I owe my career to Batman. But continue.
Now, one thing I want to point out is if you are good at what your craft is, you shouldn't feel like you'll be pigeonholed in just this. Like, oh, I'm going to be only known as a Marvel superhero. That's all I'm going to be known for. If you're a great enough actor, actress, like a Christian Bale, Florence Pugh, Anna Taylor-Joy, the list goes on and on. You have that capability and that creativity to branch out like the Bales of the world and the Pughs of the world. I mean, if you get pigeonholed as, this one thing, that's all you're going to get, maybe you're not that good of an actor or actress. You may be good in that role, but I mean, I have no problems with it.
Yeah. Yeah, same. I mean, it's just like at the end of the day, it's the actor's job to make the shit work. I mean, because at the end of the day, there's still that stigma that a lot of actors have with genre films, especially superhero stuff, where they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know if I want to do that. It's like I was in London. I did like, yeah, sure, put on the costume.
Oh, I guarantee it, if DiCaprio starts having less and less movies coming in, he'll sign up for Marvel.
I mean, I don't see that happening, but it's just
no, I don't see that. I'm just example.
I don't know. He apparently told Chalamet, "Don't do hard drugs and don't do superhero movies." I'm like, okay, sure, Leo. But anyways, yeah. So I guess who do you think Indy should play, and if she's in the X-Men?
Ooh, gosh. She in real life she's bubbly like a Jubilee, but I think she's too old to be Jubilee.
Also, Jubilee's Asian.
Oh shit, you're right.
I mean, I know it's like race thing, but it's like Rogue.
No,
maybe?
you're right. I don't really see her as Kitty Pryde. No, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Fuck it, let her be Freaky Nikki. Freaky Nikki's already a superhero.
Yes, perfect superhero. Yes.
All she needs is a brick, and she needs to make sure you're sitting in a fucking car.
Yes.
She's
like, crazy.
It's like Charles is with Magneto. Why are we in a car, Charles? No reason. Anywho, so we're kind of getting close to an hour 40, so I'm gonna do box office.
All right.
I'm gonna skip the Absolute Wonder Woman discussion. So box office for last week, which was 4th of July week.
Mm-hmm.
So top 5. So what do you think is 5?
Ooh, geez. Top 5. Well, I know. I don't know where it's placed, but I know it took a huge hit in second weekend. I'm gonna say number 5. I'm trying to remember what's all that's out right now. You know what? Fuck it. 5, Supergirl.
It's a movie you saw, Disclosure Day.
Oh, Disclosure Day. Okay.
Number 5, this weekend it brought in $6 million. So far, it has a worldwide box office of $216.6 million.
Okay.
Domestic made $105.3 million on a budget of $150.
Okay, so the film's doing good. It's doing fine.
Yeah. Number 4.
This one's Supergirl.
Yeah, it took a big hit. It was at number 2 last week. Now it's at number 4. Domestic, it took 9.5. Domestic 57.4. It's made $100.5 million on a $200 million budget.
That's rough. That is rough.
Yeah. I'll say this. It's kind of a hot take. Love James Gunn, but I think he's been overly ambitious with DC.
Yep.
Like with Marvel, they can kind of get away with it, but in the beginning, they really had to kind of choose because it was like, oh, we got Iron Man. Okay, we have Hulk. Okay, Hulk was good. Iron Man was better, but Hulk was good. And then they just kept building up their universe to the point where it's like, oh, so we still don't have X-Men, we don't have Fantastic Four, and we don't have Spider-Man yet. So let's do a Guardians of the Galaxy film. And that was supposed to be considered the first big flop of Marvel. And it essentially became, a top 5 MCU film. A lot of people will say it's maybe the best MCU film. And then they were kind of afforded to be like, oh, let's do an Ant-Man film. Let's do a Captain Marvel film, which made $1 billion. Let's do a Black Panther film, which made $1 billion, and it got nominated for Oscars and even won Oscars. So for DC, they can't afford to be overly ambitious,
right?
Because it's weird because Supergirl came out, and then 2 months later is going to be Lanterns. Lanterns probably should have been a movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Supergirl should have been a TV series,
right?
So again, I didn't hate the movie. I didn't like it.
Yep.
Because I like the comic is a lot better, which is why it should have been a TV series because there's a lot more you could have done with that in a TV show. But it's just me. Number 3. Never heard of this, but it came out on 4th of July weekend. Young Washington.
I've heard people talk about that. Some good, some bad. The bad is I heard they used AI for some of their stuff. But I also heard it was actually a good script, but it's not something I would sit there and pay for. Like, I guess they really go into like really historical stuff that is accurate but doesn't really get talked about. So
yeah,
I don't know if I'd get around to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious, and maybe if it comes on streaming, I'll give it a watch. Domestic 20 million or 20.8 million. Domestic total 19.3. Worldwide $20 million on a $20 million budget.
Oh,
so it made his money all in one weekend, so that's good.
Nice, that's okay.
And the top 2 are kind of gimmies. Number 2 is a film you just talked about.
Toy Story.
31 million domestic, a 3-day weekend. 366.3 million domestic total. Worldwide 764.3 million on $200 million budget. So whenever people were crying in the theater, Disney just went, money, money, more. Disney is a soulless, faceless corporation, but we still paid money for it.
we still dish out the money.
Number 1 is again Minions and Monsters.
Yep, no surprise there.
36.4 million on domestic 3-day, 61.4 million 5-day. Domestic total is 61.4 million. I just said that. Worldwide total 159.9 on a $100 million budget.
Damn, made that quick.
Yes, sir. And then some key takeaways and everything else. Minions and Monsters took the number 1 spot. Indie Wildcard, which Angel Studios, they're the ones that did Young Washington. Oh yeah, Angel Studios, they're that conservative movie studio. Cool. They did The Sound of Freedom, which I saw that in theaters. It's everything you think it is. I mean, granted, it had a cohesive script, so I'll say that, or a coherent script. That's the right way to put it. But it made money, and it came out at the perfect time. It came out for the July weekend about America. So, what the founders of America. And then box office disasters. Supergirl, it dropped to a brutal 74% in its second week. To pull in just 9.6 million. So
brutal.
And then Profit King. Those sitting just outside of the top 5 this weekend. We were just talking about it. Session is out of the top 5, but it's still making money.
Yeah, still. I think it's still playing in some select theaters too.
Yeah, I look on Regal to buy tickets. I'm like, Obsession's still playing, and Universal's like, yes, bitch. We want to make.
We're gonna milk that dry.
We're gonna. I shouldn't say it. $400 million mark worldwide, and tracking to become one of the most profitable movies of all time relative to its budget.
Yep.
I think it just passed The Exorcist on like number 5 or 6 as the highest grossing horror movies of all time.
Excellent.
But I can't wait for Hollywood to take the wrong lessons from this.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get so many duplicates, and they're gonna start picking like, oh, look at this YouTube creator. Ooh, look at this influencer. Let's try to juice out their ideas and see if it works. And then it's gonna be
let's look at this Twitch streamer. Let's look at this guy. Let's look at that guy. Has this guy ever directed a movie? Do you want to direct a movie? Well, here's 2 bags full of money. Direct a movie.
Right.
Does Drew Yari want to direct a movie? Well, I don't know how to. How's $25 billion sound?
Pretty good. I'll give it a whirl.
Where's the Microsoft Word? What about you, Joe Punches? Do you want to direct a movie? Here's $1 billion kajillion.
Yes, and I'll purposely make it bomb, and I'll go away. Nobody will ever find me with my $1 billion.
As long as we have $1 billion, that's all we're having.
Yes.
But that's the show, people. We are done. We got a lot done in an hour 47.
Yes.
Thank y'all for watching, whether you're on the YouTube channel, the Experience channel, which make sure you're subscribing and also leaving a like and a comment.
Yes.
Thank you to Coke Hogan for being in the chat. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
And of course, anyone watching on the Twitter, I still call it Twitter, and also the Facebook page, the Experience, and also these shows are on Spotify. So if you listen to the audio portion, please go to Spotify. And again, like I said, the Experience channel, you get shows like this, which is usually every Sunday, sometimes Monday, depending. Real Bites, where we talk about movies and TV shows and news. You also have the Experience, which is every Wednesday, which Ruben Prime is no longer on the show. It's just back to me and Justin, which is fine. Me and Ruben aren't mad at each other. He didn't tell me to go fuck myself this time. No, I love Ruben. No, me and Ruben are so cool. He for personal reasons, we just went back down to just 2 people, which is fine because we did it before. So yeah, the Experience is every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time here on YouTube. And then you get other shows like Friendly Neighborhood Marks, which I need to talk to Mr. RJ about that. And then Meadow Drive Hoops, which that's usually seasonal since the NBA season's over. And that is about it, people. Joe, do you want to plug yourself?
Oh, kinky. Hello. You can find me at Moose Breath on the old X. I talk a lot about movies and random shit. You can find me on TikTok. I do a bunch of random shit on there too. I like random shit. It's hand in hand, as they say. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, apologize that I wasn't feeling 100% yesterday, but we did an improv show tonight, which I thank Drew for doing that and putting this all together. Had a fantastic show. Hit that like button and leave a few comments too.
Yeah, it helps with the algorithm, people. All right, people. We are done. We'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Yeah.